Hello, everyone. I'm Holly Alsop. We've got a couple of people coming in from another space. Kay and Colette, welcome. I just want to say hi to everyone. Thank you for your patience. I was lost in the Zoom land. Hi, Amy. Hi, Chuck. Hi, CT Motley. Hi, Aaron. Hey, Heather. Hi, Jerry. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Kim. And if you want to put in the chat where you're from, that would be great. I'm from La La Land, Los Angeles. And all Liz is going to be my deft technical hands and chat person. She's part of the One Click Grants team. And Lay is the grease that keeps everything ready. I'm so grateful to have you both. But please, if you would both add where you're from in the chat, and we'll go to that. And just shout out everyone and give a brief introduction. Okay, let's see how we got. Absolutely. Colette, I don't know if that's a place. Hi, hello, Wisconsin, Detroit, North Dakota. Hey, we have another North Dakota here. Okay, Kathy, you have another North Dakotian here. New York, Rochester, Minnesota. Didn't know there was a Rochester, Minnesota. Oregon, Lafayette, Louisiana. Hi, Kay. She's also from North Carolina. Liz is in Orange County. Lay's in the Philippines in Manila, Seattle, Washington. So all over the world, really. And I just want to take a moment for those of you that knew the founder of this summit and say that I'm really grateful Brian chose to continue on. And in her honor, we're going to fund the future. That's what this is. So I'm going to share some screens. I do want to let you know that from my last presentation, I did listen to the feedback and I only have one slide with kittens in it today. So if you have any questions as I'm going along, we'll take a break and answer questions, but feel free to raise your hand, put it in the chat. Liz will bring it to my attention. Shamelessly, a little bit about me. I am a master grant professional and innovative AI prompt developer who has revolutionized grant writing. That's very astounding. Through my firm, One Click Grants, where I've secured over 23.5 million in funding across 18 clients of nonprofits with an impressive award rate. So that has been for a little over 12 months that we've been able to raise these dollars from 2024 of August to now. And I had to stop putting the award rate because it was unobtainable for some, but we have this year in the last 12 months an 80% award rate. As a certified grant writer and fund development specialist, she combines, I'm talking about myself in the third person, she combines traditional experience with cutting edge AI-driven automation to streamline grant procurement process and maximize efficiency for her clients. Holly's unique background in mental health advocacy and strategic consulting enhances her ability to craft compelling narratives and build strong relationships with funders. I can say most of that is true. And then the rest of it we try to live up to. Liz, would you go ahead and advance to the next slide?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what you'll walk away with and learn and want to do as soon as this class is over is identify documentation gaps in the organization. You'll have a simple system for categorizing and storing essential grant information and documents, practical file naming conventions that make sense for everyone, digital organization strategies that work across many platforms, techniques to maintain document accuracy and freshness. I love that term, document freshness, and how to quickly retrieve critical information during grant applications. So I'm really glad that you're all here today. It's been fun to welcome you all and see where everybody's from. But what I really want to dive into is a powerful grant ready filing system that actually works. I have to tell you, when I went to look at my filing examples, I am a poor case study. So one of the most important steps is to do this and do it consistently and train your team and teach your clients to do so, to follow this naming convention. As some of you might have known that Well, I don't know if this has happened to you, but I've almost missed the deadline just because I could not find the 501(c)(3) letter. Or I had to work day and night to get it done because I didn't have it or we couldn't get it. You're not alone if this has happened to you. It doesn't have to be that way. And so a good system is going to be simple, easy to use, and deployable. Go for it, Liz. All right. I know there's more than 9, but I had to stop somewhere. Okay, so notice I'm already playing with naming conventions. The 9 must have documents for grant applications. And we went back and forth over this as a team, but we definitely think you want to have your 501(c)(3) letter, bylaws, a program implementation plan, organizational budget, project budget, profit and loss, or impact report, the 990 filing, the most recent one, organizational chart, even if there's just 2 people on the board, metrics, and the current list of board members. Okay. Did I miss anything that you think is a must-have to apply for grants? And if you would please add it to the chat, Liz will stop me and we will read them aloud.
Okay, we have one from CT Motley for Program Logic Models.
Thank you, CC.
A needs statement from Virtual Team C360 Colette.
Thank you, Colette. And so the list can continue on. It really depends. Here's a tip though. I have found this to be very successful. First tip, we're going to give you 9 tips with the 9 very important documents to have for applying for a grant. Use a placeholder letter if a required document is unavailable. So we've done this with a 990 filing. We don't have the current one, it's coming. So if we, upon a grant award, we'll submit it. Or with audits. So many grants have this kind of delimiter. You can't apply because you haven't had a financial audit. But many of the organizations that I've worked with were not in that position financially to pay $10,000 for one, or hadn't reached that federal requirement of receiving $1 million in grant dollars. So sometimes a certified letter from the CPA, or this is our profit and loss, which matches the 990. So just that very blatant letter of explanation will then fill the requirement, and the application won't just get dismissed for not having all the required documents from the first pass. All right, Liz, let's go on to common storage pitfalls. So I want to know, has anyone ever had a document titled final, revised, use this one, .pdf, and it's in the downloads folder? Yes? Maybe a true confessions? I have to go through my downloads folder and move documents on a regular basis because that's where they are. And we've all been there. So, multiple shared folders, missing access permissions, team members using different systems, common pitfalls. Thank you, Liz. We've all had it happen. And I just want you to know you're not alone. And so we're going to start to get into the next slide, which is a file structure that works. And this is a peek into the swag bag. So you might have heard this in other presenters. You're going to get access to a swag bag. If you copy this QR code, and Liz is going to put it in the chat, this is going to give you access to what I'm going to show you later on the tour, which is a page and instructions and checklist of how to organize files for yourself and for your client if you're a grant writer, and for your organization and want to use. And it's important that it matches what you have. If you use Google and your client uses Dropbox, if you use OneDrive, and like me, Notion. Oh, and also I have stored files on my desktop. So if we're having these multiple locations, having these storage folder system and the naming convention match all of these different storage uses, then it's going to really help. So I'm going to show you a sample. Oh, I have to open up in my other drive. Hang on. What it looks like when I've set up the file structure for my client. Can everybody see that pretty good? Yes? All right. Thank you, Colette. Your face is the only one I can see on my shared. So thank you for the affirmations. I really appreciate it. So I added this in because I provide my clients a funding strategy. Then we have the grant attachments. Grant applications for 2023, grant applications for 2024. We added a bonus to files because they created a second nonprofit with another nonprofit, and letters of inquiry. So this is how pretty it can look. And we open this. Let's see if it'll let me open. And final funding strategy one. I'm going to go over this in a slower tour. Some other application or other documents that we use. And so this is the client's shared drive. This is what they see. Everything that I have for them in my shared drive goes into their shared drive immediately after creation. So once it's finalized, this is what we're using. And it really helps with being able to find the documents that you need when you need them. Okay, I've got to pull back on this little guy to that little guy. Oh, Liz, you might have lost control.
Well, let's see. Hold on.
Oh, look at
Nope.
that. Canva lets me give remote control to Liz so I can share the screen and you can watch. Okay, so I just want to say right now, take what works for you and leave the rest. So whatever is innate for your understanding, that's fantastic. This is to give you some suggestions that could possibly help so that everybody can understand it. So when I'm doing the file naming convention, I start with my client's name, Folk House. I do the underscore. I give the name of what the document is. And then I use a full date and sometimes the time and the word final. I'm just really reiterating this is the last version, particularly if you're not collaborating on shared drives and there are document versions going back and forth. It's very clear which version I'm on if I'm using the date and time versus version 1, or I download version 2 and it goes to my documents folder on my desktop and it doesn't go to the clients folder. All of these mistakes that can happen. When I submit the document to the client in their shared drive, I put their name, document type, my name here, and the date and the version, unless final, or if you want to just do final. But this is what you'll see in my file structure quite often, so that I can be able to immediately see what it is. The client knows it came from me, and it makes it very simple. So this is part of being grant ready. We know where the documents are. You can respond to a funder email, an audit request, partner inquiry. It's another type of readiness strategy that really helps. So we're using practical file naming conventions that make sense for everyone. All right, now at this point, I would like to know if there are any questions. And I'm going to drink some nice milk. I see a question. Oh my goodness, there's a lot in here. Okay, yes, that's correct. CT, we're going to go on a tour on that link so that you can see how I use it. But that is all it is. It's the actual file structure. So you could copy it. You can throw it into your folders, whatever one that works best for you. Yep. Thank you. Oh, we have some more needed documents. Vision and mission. The the EIN number, Kathy, should be on the original IRS 501c3 designation. But recently, I was asked for the actual EIN assignment letter from the IRS. So you apply, you get an EIN, then the IRS makes a determination, which now takes 6 to 9 months, that you are a 501c3. So basically every single document that a client has received over the course of their lifetime or that you've received as a nonprofit, you want to have at your disposal and filed away. Okay, Liz, let's go to the next one. Okay, tips 1 through 3. Because I know that everybody learns differently, I'm going to be repeating them so you remember them. You can use a placeholder letter if a required document is unavailable. Always include the month, day, year, and time for version control, or your version of that, as it were. And using collaborative drives, you want to leave on the suggest edits. So it isn't by default in OneDrive. It isn't by default in Google, nor is it in Notion. So you want to do that so that you can see the changes as they happen. All right, here we go. We're going to go on the tour now. Let's see how I get this over. Fantastic. So as CT pointed out, I use Notion as my shared drive for collaboration with clients and with the team. This is the link. If you need the link again, just ask Liz. And it is also my SOP, standard operating procedure. So when I'm onboarding a new team member or I'm onboarding a new client, they get access to this. We request that you name your documents this way if possible. Saves us time for renaming them for you, saves you time so you can find them. So I'm just going to read the purpose. Each grant application will have its own folder structure. So each application will be slightly different from the other. It helps to have a template folder that you can copy and paste every time you start a new application. Whether you use our folder structure or develop your own, all that matters is you're consistent. Doing so will help you find information faster and reduces the energy wasted looking for things. Let's see if I can. Can everyone see that? Should I make it a little bigger? How's that? Let's the zoom out. Is that better? Yep, thank you. Okay, purple, that's my business color. So this is the client organization folder. The name of the folder is, as you saw in that brief demo with Nowruz, is Nowruz, and then the grant name. It goes that way. So I have their name. Then number 1, as you saw, was funding strategy for each program. So I might do a funding strategy for feeding the hungry, and they also teach financial literacy. So in that, I separate them out so that we can reference what that information is, what are the grants, what's interesting. A prospectus, if you know or have heard that term in business, but we use it in our funding outreach, is a digital asset that says the 5 W's and the 1 H. So a funder can see quickly when we're doing outreach, or if I can load it up as an extra attachment, I do. Now, this is my shameless plug. I am an instrumental partner, so we're going to give you a link in the chat also to receive a discount. Instrumental has a very simple grant tracking system, and I highly recommend it. You can include yourself or your grant writer, or if you're a grant writer, your client. In case that you don't, here's the file for that. In the case that you do, I actually have a page in this file that has the link to Instrumental and the name of the client's profile, so that everything is in one place. If you do a readiness assessment or a needs and gaps analysis, that goes here. I like to do a mind map and get everything out of the board's head onto paper. That goes here. And then my favorite important thing is the go, no go grant matrix, because everybody wants to apply for these fantastic opportunities. And what does it take to do it? So that assessment is there, easy to find. So file number 2 is grant attachment documents. And the first one is federal and other required documents. So the IRS 501c3 designation letter, the EIN letter, the 990, then the year. With the SAMS registration and ERA Commons, I again put these on separate files on a page with those numbers so that they're all in one place. A copy of the bylaws. Number 2 would be state documents. The only ones from California are Liz and I, but we have to have a California state tax status. So the Attorney General's site allows me to print up a certification that says they're certified in good standing. I don't know if this has happened to you or if you met someone who forgot to file at the state level, it will cause a loss of the nonprofit status. And then the Secretary of State Articles of Incorporation. Then city and county documents, budgets, so organizational, program, profit and loss, that could also be your impact report. Kind of the same thing, but might want to have both. That's here. 5 are letters of support, references, and partnership agreements. 6, the organization charts. And again, each one of these have recommended naming convention. The board of directors, resume, bios, amounts donated, contact, place of work, total donation amount per year. All of that has been asked for grant applications. So we have the list, the bios. Number 8, board minute meetings. So at times it's important to be able to tell a funder how often the board has met, and if they have meetings for federal grants, it's been required. And lastly are the team details, team resumes, team bios to do that. And now we're into the grant application folder, which you saw on our previous example. The name of the grant and the funder, and you've got project management. I store the scope of work here too, or what the project management outline is, so I have a quick and easy reference to it. The grant application and funding guidelines. We recommend downloading a blank application. We recommend downloading the grant guide. We recommend downloading the RFT or the deets from the website, copy and paste, and then 4 is linked to website, webinars, FAQs, and other resources. These all really assist in preparing adequately for the grant submission. Now we have the narrative. So you have a narrative skeleton. I use something called the proposal framework, which gets really in-depth. Work plan if required, implementation plan, SMART goals, citations, whatever they ask for. So logic model was mentioned, mission, value statement, all of that. Number 4 is application attachments can be modified. So what do they require? I just have a sample here, like a board resolution, letters of support, budgets, team resumes, partnership agreements, miscellaneous attachments. So this is the key. I keep both attachments. I keep attachments in both places. So when I go to upload the narrative or fill in the form, right in the same file are the documents that I can drag and drop over to the upload. So I'm not looking for them. They're all right here in one place, making it easy peasy to find. And then always download a final application or a screenshot, some evidence of submission. We just had this happen in December of 24, where an application wasn't able to be submitted. So we took a screenshot because the website crashed. And then we're able to get a support ticket in and complete the application on that Monday. And then number 6 is a catch-all. I do the same with previous grants. So if you have previous grants and you're backloading the system in, it's really valuable to file it the same way. Or if you're a grant writer and you're working in-house or as a freelancer, same idea. Get the attachments, get the narrative, get these information so that we have it available. And then I have a little checklist here. what to do in what order, maybe just check them off. With this page, if you go over to the three dots, you can hit export and it will give you an option to export the page in a PDF or any type of view. Or if you need it in some different format, I'm going to give you my LinkedIn later and you can just reach out to me on LinkedIn and I'll make sure you get it in whatever format that you need. Okay, that was a lot of information. Do we have any more questions about this?
Not seeing any come through in the chat. Don't be afraid if you have a question, ask.
Left, look at Colette. You're like taking a bathroom break. Okay. So if there are no questions, Liz, you don't have any questions. This is kind of new to you.
No, I really like Notion and how you have it all lined out. So it's very easy to follow along and make sure that we can keep it all organized. It's been very helpful in my processes of onboarding and staying organized. It's been very helpful.
It's a chore. I don't want to do it. I get the document in the email and I send it to Lay to do because I literally don't want to do it. However, when I want to find it, like, thank you, Lay. When I want to find it, like fund the future, do I use Google Drive at all? I don't want to be looking through the emails. I use Google Drive, Heather, if that's what you want to use. So as you saw with that previous example of Bruce, that was in a Google Drive. And so I'll have it in the Google Drive and I will have it in my drive. And then I take the moment to make sure those documents are up to date and fresh, that we're bringing them over. If there's been a change of address, if there's been a change in the board list, checking in with that. And that's basically what this slide is referring to, is keeping them clear and up to date and accessible, reviewing annually, quarterly, or when leadership changes or our staffing changes, and keep updating. So it is an ongoing process.
All right, you want me to read the question?
Like, yes.
Okay, from Kim Thomas, Atlantic Street. What about organizing our grant application software? So many funders are using the same software, so I have to keep changing my password. Any advice?
All right, I want to clarify something, Kim. Are you saying, you're saying you go to a new client and it's SurveyMonkey, and now you have to do a new password for the SurveyMonkey to log in. Is that kind of the question? Can you give me a little more
Yeah,
context?
I can. So a lot of the foundations, private foundations, are using the same grant application system. So I shouldn't have said software, I should have said system. Like grant interface. I have like 10 that use the same. So every time I apply for a grant, I have to change the password. And I'm just wondering if you have any advice of keeping those organized. I was also thinking about using different fake emails. I was just trying to figure out how to make this happen that that the system doesn't actually kick me out because I'm using it so many times with these different passwords.
I actually have a solution for you. I have to poke into this chat. It's going to probably go way back. But there is a way to add a title in front of your email so you don't have to create fake emails. And I'm scrolling through my Slack to find it. And so that would be a way. So you could have like foundation plus your name and then it would be the same email. You still are going to have uh, different passwords, and we use Bitwarden so that Bitwarden can save the password and it's locked in there, and I can actually share it with my client. Yeah, here, I'm going to put the sample in the chat. So I have a Gmail account. Oops, let's try this. Holly plus Netflix at Gmail. So that email, because we don't want your emails going to all different notifications and places and you miss something, right? So this formula, that's my email name, Holly Alsop at Gmail. I add the plus Netflix or plus Funder one, and now you do have a unique identifier. And then you can use the same password or Bitwarden's $40 a month, a year. It's not that intuitive to use, but once I got it down, I was using it to share access to Instrumental while we were teaching a grant writing class and doing the research so that everyone could share the same seat and I didn't have to spend $5 per person, kind of frugal, to do that and then take them off. So it makes it possible to just use the same email. Use the same password. So did you track that response, Kim?
I did, thank you.
Yeah, and you'll have to let me know if it works for you. Feel free to give me a shout out on LinkedIn and tell me that would be one solution. And that's really interesting. I haven't come across that yet, although I have the other solution, because you're one organization. When I'm working with multiple organizations, they just have different emails, like you said. But what I think we want to avoid is having the emails going to different boxes and you have to manage that. So give that a try. Please let me know if it works. We want to do our best to give you workable tips. Okay, revisiting the tips again. One, use a placeholder letter if a required document is unavailable. 2, always include month, day, year, and time version control. I don't mean to be so bossy, but I highly recommend it. Using collaborative drives, keep your suggest edits on. So that means like in Notion and in Google, you have to turn that on. Keep 2 top copies of the grant attachment documents, client's drive and your client's folder. So that could be in the same Google document. And what I'm really referencing here is I have the 501c3 in the documents folder, and I also have a copy of what I uploaded in the grant attachment folder. I had the County of Orange come back and tell me that we did not have a current business license. And I'm like, yes, we do. And I had the one that I had uploaded in the folder and claimed that to be the issue and had them recheck, and they did. Set a shared standard. What's going to be your standard operating procedure? Or how are you going to do the sharing? I recommend using checklists. Train yourself, your staff, if you're a grant writer for others, your clients, how you're going to do the naming conventions and the onboarding, and regular doc audits every 12 to 6 months. I use Asana for this, so I know when to ask, or when I do a contract assurance. Oops, I went too far, Liz. When I do contract assurance where I'm giving a checklist, I'll check then and see if I need anything to update. Okay. There's an app for that. I love saying that. So for a simple automation bonus tip trick is I use the Score app because it lets me input basic information. It even allows links to key documents, and it's great for teams or consultants or whomever you're attempting to bring together. So what it looks like when you go to the link on my page is this. Is your nonprofit grant ready? And it asks some questions. Oh, that's my website. There you go. Okay, so the back end looks like this. Here's Joshua. I did ask him if I can use him as an example. It takes 3 minutes to complete this readiness assessment. And I asked a lot of questions. You're going to get access to this in the swag bag, and I have a coupon that's free for 60 days that you can use. And it gives these answers. Do you have a non-discrimination policy, staff training manual, IRS designation letter, financials? How about profit and loss? They have the 990 in hand, no audit, past program specific budgets, future, This organization has no budget at all, apparently. Um, this asks a little bit about their vision statement, all of this. So this is what I'm using to do a very high overview readiness assessment. It takes the client 3 minutes if they just answer it, first answer off the top of their head, or takes the organization that time, and we're done. And I can quickly tell where we need to start, what kind of grants we can go after, and what would be important to do next. So I do the same thing with onboarding. So this took almost 5 minutes, and I asked those basic questions: the phone, the name, who I talked to, EIN, SAMS, business license, vision, last 990 filed, and who are the employed staff, how many volunteers, how many grants they awarded. This is just some basic information I need to know when I'm onboarding. And the reason that I'm sharing this is because any place that we can automate and save time going back and forth to get basic information or to have an assessment, I highly, highly recommend. And Liz, you can put the grant readiness assessment to our website link and coupon, please. And I know, yeah, thank you. Someone was asking me, I think it was CT, and another person was asking me if I use Google. This is a Google Drive. Here's the funding strategy, grant attachment documents, grant applications, 2024, letter of inquiries. And then we open up the funding strategy. It's broken down 1, 1, 2, 3, because this orders these folders in the order of priority for me. So,
Okay, Holly, we have just a few minutes left.
okay, fantastic. Well, we're almost done. Actually, Liz, if I can find what I did with my comment slide. Okay. So there is an app for that. She's giving you the code.
What?
Oh, yep, go back one.
Yep, sorry about that.
Okay. So tip number 9, automate onboarding and redundant processes. You are going to get the slide deck from Brian, so feel free to just know this will come. Or if you want to take a quick screenshot of the tips, feel free to do that. Let's go on this. This is just a reiterating the discount. I'm not charging you for anything, not the classes. Oops, that's a peek in the swag bag. So the assessment's free. If you want to run that by, use it for yourself, use it for someone you love. Go ahead, Liz, let's go to the last slide. Ah, now we got the kitten slide. So this is how you feel when you find it now, or you found it, and it happens in 60 seconds. So you can relax, stretch out. That's my cat, Alfred, demonstrating how wonderful it feels to be stress-free. Let's go on to the next one, Liz. So I can get them out of here a little early. Okay. So Liz is going to put my LinkedIn in the chat. And what's next in this program at the top of the hour is grant compliance. You got the money, and now what? That's my question. That's Dr. Christie, which Colette was invited to. Beyond grant applications, also another Colette. Being grant ready by Tarika. And we just want to invite you to stay here, stay tuned, come back tomorrow. Keep learning, and I would really appreciate it if everyone would tell me one thing that they learned before we close up the meeting, about 1 minute. Okay, that's what I have. Thank you. Thank you. Filing system, naming conventions. Fantastic. All right, I am going to end just a couple minutes early in case you've been here all 3 hours or all 2 hours, so you can take a little coffee break. And we will see you back in the next courses. We're so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for lending me your time and for responding and your attention. Again, grab my LinkedIn or one-click grants on LinkedIn, and I'll answer any other additional questions you may have. And I hope you enjoyed the swag bag. Okay,